Alright guys, now I'm back at home now and I am going to fillet these whitefish, so check it out. So I am using a Rapala fillet knife. This was one of the first knife I ever bought. And one thing always nice to have is a sharpener. This is Sharpen's best sharpener. I love this thing. This thing sharpens all my knives. First off, I actually like to cut this bottom portion off. It just makes it a little bit easier to fillet. Sometimes you get stuck under here or you go over it and it's a pain in the butt. So just go ahead, chop it off. To the other side. So I always like to start with the fish heads towards my left side. This allows me to just get the blade a little flatter against the back spine here. So pretty much first cut is right behind the gill plate, straight down, and then turn your blade, and then this is where's the tricky part. So one thing I always like to do is keep the tip of the blade ahead of the back of the blade, so I have this over here while this is back there. This just allows it to slide over the bones instead of going in between and maybe going right through. Alright, there's our first fillet. I'll flip it to the other side and do pretty much the same thing. Behind the gill plate, turn your blade at the tip ahead and slowly just push it across. See, I didn't cut that good. Now I have this fin up here. So go ahead, just trim this part off. There we go, we got our two fillets. So not too much meat left on there. There are some eggs in here. They are spawning. So alright, so after you got your two fillets, you want to take out the rib bones here. Pretty much just gotta get under it. Get under it, nice and slow slice. Get under it, and then you're going to want to push back up towards the top. Alright. So now these whitefish have a Y bone, which is running across right here. You can hear that. So it's running across right here. So it's a Y, so the bone's actually pointed towards the top of the body. So what you can do is actually just run your knife on the top side of the bone and make sure you run it along the blade so it kind of just guides the blade across. So slowly cut through like that and just keep slowly working it, and that blade will just kind of run along that bone. Don't force it, don't break through the bones, just let it glide right through there. Okay, now go on the bottom side and kind of cut up towards it. There we go. Alright, now usually I like to just fillet right off and then I'll cut it off at the end. Just go ahead, get the blade under here. Their skin isn't that tough, so just take your time, don't force it. Just let your blade do the work. there we go. There's our first fillet. Just pull this Y bone out, chop it there, and it's all the meat you waste. Now this fillet should be bone free. Alright, we're going to do the same to the other side. Take out the rib cage, get under the bone there. Slowly run your blade across and try to push back up towards the ribs. Right. Again, if you see these little white spots here, this is the fat. You're going to want to cut that off. If you don't cut that off, you're going to get that really, really fishy taste. So be careful. Make your nice cuts here and just trim that away. That's going to make it taste way better. Alright, now we got to go to the Y bone. Just run your fingers across there. You can hear it and feel it. And again, the Y is going up, so you're going to want to start on the top side of the bone. So kind of use your whole blade. This is the only time you really use your whole blade, and just let it glide across there. Don't force it. Don't break the bones. Just let the knife guide yourself along the bones there. Slowly do that until you get to the bottom. Okay, and then now you can go to the other part, below the Y bone. Okay, should be good. Now we can fillet this meat off. Again, don't force it, just let your blade do the work. Go. Get the Y bone there. I didn't go far enough there, so I'll just go ahead and trim it off a little bit. There you go. Boneless, 2 boneless fillets. It's got some skin on there, but that'll add a little bit of flavor. Again, make sure you get all these little fat pieces off. Those are the fishiest tasting pieces. So I'm actually going to fry this fish. A lot of people think that since it's an oily fish, it's no good for frying, but it's definitely pretty good. So I'm just going to cut it into little chunks, good for frying. There we go. So there's the first fish. We're going to go ahead and do the second one too. Alright. It's a pretty nice whitefish. This one's pretty big. So again, behind the gill plate, we're actually start off here. Get all the way across around these bones. It's just gonna make filleting a little easier. Okay, and again, I like to start the head on my left side. Go ahead behind the gill plate, hit the spine, turn your blade, keep the tip ahead of the back. Let the knife do the work. Again, behind the gill plate, hit the spine, turn the blade, just let the blade do the work. There we go. Okay, take out the rib bone again. Alright, and then the Y bone. Feel it, it's right here. Start on the top side, let the blade do the work. It's a good idea to let the fillet lay flat just so you can cut nicely across. Alright, I'll go below the spine or the Y bone. Okay, now we can fillet it. Again, just let the blade do the work. Kind of just push it through. Should have grabbed a bigger cutting board, but this one will do. Okay. Again, make sure you cut all this white stuff. This is all fat, and that's what's really fishy. Alright, take out the ribs. Back to the Y bone. Bone goes up, so you want to start on the top side of the bone and just guide your blade across. Let the bones guide you where you gotta go. Now the underside. Do an angled upward cut. Alright. Take up some of this fat off. Okay, go ahead. I always start back at the tail and just let the knife do the work. There we go. Again, I'm going to cut it into little slices just so I can fry it up. Okay, so once you're done with this, bring it in and wash it and throw it in a bowl of ice and water.